symbolic though. Like we ended our loop and it was like crazy windy. Like we're very conscious in terms of weather, but it is just blowing and we're about to end our final journey, our final time on the ICW. It is just blowing. Is it symbolic? Is there like a deeper meaning here?
Absolutely.
That I've yet to figure out? I don't know if you can hear this or not, but we are turning off the ICW for the last time and turning
down the St. John's River. This is our last voyage on Pivot. We are coming back to where we started this journey.
It's very mixed emotions. Very mixed emotions.
Sad.
Yeah. Proud of ourselves. Proud of what we accomplished, but sad. Sad that this chapter is coming to an end.
Cruising down the St. John's River is our final voyage on Pivot. 10,000 miles and 1 gold flag later, we are returning to Jacksonville, Florida. Our trip southbound is a homecoming. With how tumultuous our maiden voyage was just over 2 years ago on these same waters, we are returning as different people and boaters, forged by America's Great Loop.
Our journey down the St. John's is twofold. One, it's a story of redemption. Secondly, it's the end of a chapter. A really amazing and beautiful chapter at the end of a chapter.
One of my favorite parts about cruising downtown Jacksonville is you have the Maxwell Coffee House factory and you just smell the aroma of like roasting beans and it just smells delightful.
Little did we know at the time, cruising through Jacksonville would start this journey for us in a way that we'd be seeing things new from the water that we hadn't seen before. And even the familiar places like downtown Jacksonville, we'd be seeing all of these places, whether they're new to us or familiar, from the water for the first time. And that was a pretty cool thing, and something that we quickly grew to love about this journey.
We are coming right by Palatka, which this is basically where we bought Pivot. And the town waterfront is just like, it seems smaller than I remember. It was bigger in my memory.
Little did we know, our peaceful twilight cruise would soon be faced with a pivot.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. DK, Diamond, and Crystal. Nice to meet you guys. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much.
You never know what you're gonna get, folks.
You never know. Just as we passed Palatka, there was a boat in the middle of the river that was waving down the distress sign. They needed help. So we went over to their boat, their batteries died, so we gave them a tow to like a local boat ramp. Well, it is almost sunset.
It is, so it's past sunset.
Okay, it's past sunset.
It's past sunset.
So it's also the time when all of the Bass Pro boats are coming into the the thing, into the boat ramp to take their boats out of the water for the night. And so there's just a lot of boats all at the same time.
Oh my god.
There's current. Oh my gosh.
Was easy. This is actually the second time that we've had to tow somebody with Pivot. The first time was on the Chesapeake Bay, and this time we decided to basically put them up as a side tie because we got a lot of that advice from you guys in the comments on that one, and that was so much easier. Like I wasn't worried about like rope snapping or anything. I had a lot of control. I mean, we go slow anyway, so it worked great. But docking a side tie boat in like
Current.
a couple knots of current, or at least over a knot of current, like that's redemption, baby. That is redemption, because we couldn't even dock this boat with current on the St. John's River. That's redemption.
Hey.
Wow, we docked somebody else's boat with our boat. We docked your boat with our boat.
Good job, I'm proud of you.
Oh, my butt is like super clenched right now.
Just a reminder that this can happen to anybody. It can happen to us at any time. It can happen to new boaters, experienced boaters. So it's always a good thing to lend a helping hand.
After a late night, anchoring in the pitch black, we had a pre-dawn departure, crossing where we spent our first night on anchor ever, Lake George.
We did it!
Woo! Lake George!
Good job, Ollie. High five.
High five, girlfriend. Oh, yes. Yes.
And just on the other side of the lake, the St. Johns River transforms into Old Florida.
It has been 2.5 years since we stayed at this anchorage here right outside Blue Springs State Park, and we're gonna be here for the weekend. Basically, we're meeting some friends here, and we're just excited to kind of relive probably our first anchorage that we truly enjoyed and still remember to this day. And I'm interested to see how it changed in the past 2.5 years. But we're going with lily pads. Can we still get in? We'll see. Well, like everything, folks, we pivoted. We are not at the anchorage that we thought we were gonna go to. We did check it out, and it's still there. It's still gorgeous. We decided to go a little bit more practical. So here is literally Blue Springs State Park, stone's throw away, and because we're meeting friends here, so it's just gonna be super easy, and it's different too. So we're kind of like tucked away out of these two channels. There's like a channel that way. There's a channel that way, and there's about 1.5 feet underneath pivot right now, so very shallow, but all good with us. And unfortunately, we've been like calling Marina since we got here, and we are fully embracing the pivot. The downtown marina in Sanford is closed for transients because of the hurricane that came through this past season, so we're not going to be able to go there, but we are embracing the pivot, which is the whole mantra that we've really learned on this boating journey. And yeah, just taking every day as it comes and just enjoying all the pivots and making the most of whatever life gives us. Well, it is Sunday, Memorial Day weekend, and we are pivoting, folks. Found out that we have a family member in the hospital. So Jennifer is basically leaving with our friends to go to the said hospital because basically the entire rest of Jen's local family is all sick with COVID. So we are embracing the pivot. We don't know exactly what we're doing. We'll come up with a plan. We'll let you guys know. But all things being said, this last trip down to St. John's is ending not how we expected, but the fact that it is a pivot is very expected. So keep you in touch. I had to go for a run just to kind of think. I've been running a lot lately over the past few months while we've been in Islamorada, and just thinking about what this trip means and how we're being forced to embrace the pivot as Jennifer's grandmother is not doing too well and Jennifer's off the boat, and just trying to decide what that pivot is so we can get after it and make our decision and move. And part of this redemption journey was getting down to Sanford. That was never going to work out, although we were thinking about just cruising down and taking a look at it. But with this news and this change, I think I'm going to solo take the boat back up to Palatka. And it's definitely not what we had in mind for ending boat life, but honestly I'm pretty okay with it because we've front loaded. We've done everything that we wanted to do with the loop, and we've done everything that we could do. All the decisions that we made, we tried to do our best with the experience and knowledge we had, and
we just had a great time. So I'm going to enjoy this final cruise, or cruises. Not quite sure, I've never single-handed before. We'll just see how it goes. And I'll be thinking about Jennifer's grandmother, and hopefully she has a speedy recovery. And hopefully Jennifer is able to give her some love and support by being there with her. As I'm getting ready for the boat alone this morning, I'm just continually struck by how much more difficult things are without Jen. And I've never taken Jen for granted. She is an amazing, amazing, amazing partner, and it's just highlighted. We would normally be on the water, we'd be out by now, but I have to think about all these things that Jen would normally help out with, and I could rely on her with, and now I need to make sure that I can handle them alone. And it is going to be a very, very, very different cruise compared to our normal ones. And I'm excited for the challenge, but I do miss Jen a lot. It's not the granola and Greek yogurt and fruit that we're used to, eh?
Mm-mm.
Time to turn on pivot for the last time on our redemption trip. And there's an alligator just chilling in the channel. Really
one pond.
After like a few days coming down the St. John's, we saw one alligator, but we didn't film it because it was pretty far away. And now I've seen one this morning earlier, and then now two just crossing the waterway, which is just, I don't know, it's just always really cool to see them because you don't see them everywhere on the loop. Like pretty much just the southeast, and you know, not really that likely to see in most places, except for the St. John's River. I think all I think's all the alligators are dolphins. These are not dolphins. Is that your first gator that you've really noticed? Ever? It's definitely been a bit emotional this morning. Just having it all sink in that this is the final voyage of boat life for us for now. It's just very, very, very peaceful and just allowing me to kind of be in my thoughts. Definitely gonna miss this. Alright, let's do this. I'm getting a little bit anxious about docking pivot alone, but I set up my fenders basically ahead of time before leaving this morning, and I have the line sort of ready, so crossing my fingers. I've planned, and
done pretty much everything I can. It's absolutely unreal seeing the marina here in San Mateo, Florida, where we purchased Pivot a little over 2.5 years ago, right here. Just a small, no-frills marina, the bare necessities, and we're bringing her back home. It's just very surreal. I really wish Jen was here to experience this, but you know, duty calls, and we just have to embrace the Pivot, and that is what we are doing. And hopefully, docking goes well. Cross my fingers, boat's ready. Let's get after it. Oh my god, I cannot believe I did that. Yay! High five! Give your dad a high five! Oh yeah. Jen, that would have been 1,000,000 times easier with you. But thankfully, you have taught me a lot how to tie fenders. I don't know if I did them right, but they stayed on. Wow. Alright, let me see if I can FaceTime Jen. I'm turning off Pivot for the last time. I wanted you to be present.
Alright, let's see. Oh my gosh, this is so sad.
Ready?
No!
You say when.
You do it!
Alright. I love you.
Love you.
It's really beginning to hit me harder than I expected. After the adrenaline of docking and coming to the realization that this is the end, has just been bitter. Basically no sweetness, just bitter right now. Sad. Happy that it happened, but just sad that this is the end. And it's not the end of traveling. We have a lot of really fun, interesting things planned, but the end of this chapter of our lives. And this has been every single day, thinking about boating, thinking about the loop, and thinking about Pivot and everything related to that. And now that we made it back to this marina in San Mateo, it's just like, wow. You know, logically, it's time for it to end. We have a lot of things going on in the background, and it's time for this phase to be over. We've known that for months. We've been planning this for months, but being here has really solidified and made it real. It's just made it real, and it's just sad. When I was pulling into this marina, the biggest thing that I thought about was, wow, this marina is tiny. Much tinier than it felt back then when we started boat life here. It could have been the biggest marina in the world because it was the only marina to us. And now that we've seen over 8,000 nautical miles of different territory and different cruising lands, we are able to put this in perspective. And that's probably one of the biggest shocks to me, because we're in this boatyard for many months, maybe 6 months or something like that. And coming back and seeing it's the same but different, and seeing it in a new light is just very crazy and very wild.
The past week has been a whirlwind. I spent 6 days with my grandmother, making sure that she got back to good health, and 4 days in the hospital and 2 days with her at her home. She's doing much better now. Not 100%, 8 out of 10, which is good for me. But now being back here, it really feels like this chapter is coming to an end. Feels like the next stage of this same chapter is starting, which is boat work. But it feels so strange to be back. Like driving over the bridges that we cruised under. Oh, it feels like such an accomplishment. Oh my gosh. It feels like we did it. We did it well. That's what it feels like. But now time for boat work and moving off the boat.
Today we are planning to move off the boat, at least get a lot of the stuff off, and then we have to categorize our projects and basically make Pivot oh so pretty for her new buyer, which is really exciting. We don't know who that is yet, but Pivot is in very good working shape, but we haven't given her a clean in a while, and just living aboard without being to a marina, without hauling out in 2.5 years, the projects pile up. And now we're gonna knock them all out.
It just feels like whenever you move out of a home, and Pivot's been our home, and so it's been very emotional.
We spent the next month on this wall knocking out boat projects. We deep cleaned Pivot, including lots of detail cleaning for Linda and our bilge. We refinished the V-berth walls, painted our aft head, and did tons of other jobs that had piled up over the years.
Good morning. Today is Friday, June 30th, and we are
Hauling out Pivot.
It's kind of surreal because we haven't taken Pivot out of the water to see the bottom. I mean, technically we went on the Marine Railway in Canada where she was lifted out of the water, but we did not get to inspect her specifically in detail.
Right.
So this will be the first time that we will have seen Pivot out of the water since we initially put her in the water in February of 2021.
That's right. It's been a long time. Hopefully there's no big surprises. And honestly, we don't feel ready.
We do not feel ready, but we made a list of all the things that we need to do, boat project wise, and all of the must do in the water things are done. So we just need to move the process along.
Just gotta keep moving.
Yeah, rip the Band-Aid off and do it. So we're doing it today. Hopefully it goes well. The end of an era. So sad. It really feels cemented now. It feels real.
As we prepare for months of boat work, we're joyful. Pivot has been a great home. It's time for the next chapter. Thank you for watching our story.